Imagine this for a second. You catch your wife cheating. The evidence is undeniable. Her lies unravel in front of you like a cheap sweater snagged on a nail. But instead of breaking down or begging for forgiveness, she smiles. She's calm. Almost too calm. Why? Because right now, she's already playing a game with your mind. A game she's been practicing long before you ever found out. You see, cheating isn't just about secret texts or hotel rooms. It's about control, manipulation, power. And when a woman gets caught, the games truly begin. This isn't a video about blaming women. It's about opening your eyes to the psychological tactics you're likely to face if this ever happens to you. Because if you don't recognize these mind games, you'll stay trapped, second-guessing your instincts, doubting your own reality, or worse, apologizing to the very person who betrayed you. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at these behaviors the same way again. Here's the first game she plays, the reverse victim strategy. She'll flip the narrative faster than a magician pulling a rabbit from a hat. Instead of focusing on what she did to you, she'll redirect your attention to what you did to her. You never gave me enough attention. You worked too much. You made me feel lonely. And suddenly, you're no longer confronting her betrayal. You're defending yourself, explaining yourself, apologizing for things that, just days ago, seemed completely normal. It's a subtle trick, but it's devastatingly effective. Because now, you're no longer the victim. You're the villain in her story. And guess what villains don't get? Sympathy. This mind game is designed to confuse you emotionally. It creates cognitive dissonance, where your brain tries to reconcile two conflicting realities. She cheated, but somehow I'm the one apologizing? Funny how that works, isn't it? But don't laugh too hard yet, because the next game is even more dangerous. Minimization through comparison. Picture this. You confront her, and she shrugs. It wasn't even that serious. It was just a kiss. At least I didn't sleep with him. See how it works? She's reframing reality in real time, shrinking the betrayal down to something almost trivial. And in doing so, she's testing you. Testing how much you'll tolerate. How far you'll let her push the boundary of disrespect before you break. This isn't just about downplaying the cheating. It's about establishing a new baseline for what you're willing to accept. If you accept this, you've just told her you'll accept more. Here's a quick question for you, just to shake things up. Have you ever noticed how people who lie, well, rarely confess the whole truth at once? They breadcrumb you. A little truth here, a little omission there, all designed to make you feel like you're making progress, when really, you're being led in circles. And speaking of circles, that leads us to the third game. One she plays when the first two fail, but I'm not revealing it just yet, because trust me, it's the one that breaks even the strongest men. So let's pick up right where we left off. You've caught her. She's reversed the roles, painted herself as the victim, minimized her actions, and you're already starting to feel dizzy from the mental gymnastics. But if you think this psychological warfare ends there, you're sorely mistaken. The third mind game is what I call the emotional collapse. It's not logical, it's not rational, it's pure chaos, wrapped in tears, breakdowns, and dramatic outbursts. Picture this. One minute, you're asking her calm, direct questions. The next, she's sobbing uncontrollably, shaking, collapsing on the floor, screaming, "I can't believe you're doing this to me right now." Notice the wording? You are suddenly the bad guy again, not for what she did, but for how you're reacting. This is manipulation disguised as vulnerability. Because when a man sees a woman cry, something primal kicks in. He wants to fix it, to comfort her, to protect. And just like that, she's shifted the conversation from her betrayal to her pain. Your anger softens, your boundaries blur. You start thinking, maybe I'm being too harsh, maybe I should give her another chance. But understand this, not all tears are innocent. Some are weapons. Weapons designed to exhaust you emotionally until you surrender. Ever wonder why so many men stay in toxic marriages even after discovering infidelity? It's not weakness. It's psychological exhaustion from games like this. But we're not done. Because after she breaks down, she plays her next hand. Gaslighting through selective memory. She'll start rewriting history, not just to confuse you, but to convince herself. I never said that. You're remembering it wrong. That's not how it happened. You'll second-guess your reality. Replay conversations in your head. Question your own sanity. This tactic is brutal because it erodes your trust, not just in her, but in yourself. If she can convince you the betrayal wasn't exactly what you thought, then maybe it wasn't betrayal at all. Maybe you're just paranoid. See how clever that is? Confuse the man long enough, and he'll stop asking questions altogether. Imagine if courtrooms worked this way. Your Honor, I didn't rob the bank. You're just remembering it wrong. Sounds ridiculous, right? But inside your home, it works. Now, these games don't operate in isolation. They stack, layer by layer, each tactic weakening your defenses until you're too tired to fight back. And just when you think you've seen it all, she plays the fifth and final game, the most sinister of them all, one that doesn't just manipulate your present, but hijacks your future. You might think you're ready to hear it, but this one leaves scars that take years to recognize, even longer to heal. The final psychological game is what I call the future faking trap. This is where things get especially dark because it doesn't just manipulate your emotions today. It weaponizes your dreams for tomorrow. Picture this. After all the chaos, the tears, the gaslighting, she suddenly becomes hopeful, soft, sweet, future-focused. She starts talking about plans again, vacations you'll take together, how she wants to rebuild, how this mistake will only make your marriage stronger. And in those vulnerable moments, when your defenses are worn thin, your trust shattered, this feels comforting, reassuring, almost romantic. You tell yourself, maybe this is just a rough patch. Maybe we can fix this. Maybe the future will be better. But here's the uncomfortable truth most men don't realize until it's too late. She's not promising you a future because she's committed to change. She's promising you a future to stall your present. This tactic delays your decision-making. It keeps you in place, keeps you from leaving, buys her time to rewrite the narrative, both in your mind and in hers. It's not about building trust, it's about building complacency. She's lulling you into a false sense of security so you won't ask hard questions, so you won't leave, so you'll stop looking at the truth. And here's the kicker. Most of these promises, they vanish the moment you let your guard down. The vacations never happen. The new beginning fades into old patterns. The cycle resets until you forget how you even got here in the first place. Why does this work so well? Because hope is the most seductive drug there is. Even stronger than love, stronger than sex, stronger than fear. Hope whispers, stay a little longer, things will get better. But it never tells you when. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stayed in a situation long past its expiration date? Not because you were happy, but because you were afraid of starting over? Because deep down, you believed the future she painted would one day arrive? That's not love. That's manipulation. This is why understanding these games matters. Because if you don't see them, you'll stay trapped. Not by her, but by the lies you told yourself to survive the betrayal. You might be wondering, is this the end of the games? In truth, it's just the beginning. Because once you recognize the pattern, you start seeing it everywhere. Not just in her, but in people who exploit your kindness, your loyalty, your hope. So what's the answer? It's not revenge. It's not anger. It's clarity, emotional intelligence, the ability to step back, observe, and refuse to participate. And if you're still watching this, you're already ahead of most, because awareness is the first step to reclaiming your power. Before I share how to protect yourself from these tactics long-term, let me leave you with this. Not every woman plays these games. But the ones who do, they don't stop until you do. Let's finish strong. You've seen the 5 psychological games wives often play when caught cheating. You've felt the emotional pull, the confusion, the doubt. Now it's time to ask the most important question. What do you do when you recognize these patterns? Because awareness without action is just insight wasted. The answer starts with one word: boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep love out. They're fences to keep self-respect in. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of betrayal wrapped in manipulation, you know exactly how easy it is to start sacrificing your own values just to keep the peace. But let me tell you something. Peace built on lies is war in disguise. You don't heal by negotiating with a manipulator. You heal by choosing clarity over confusion, strength over submission, and truth over the fantasy of a better future with someone who already proved they could betray it. It's time to stop trying to win a rigged game. Because no matter how sharp your instincts are, no matter how much you love her, a woman who uses psychological warfare to cover up her betrayal isn't fighting to rebuild trust. She's fighting to avoid accountability. Let's reset your attention with one final pattern interrupt. If someone stabbed you in the back and then offered you a Band-Aid, would you thank them? Or would you finally realize the person offering the solution is also the one who caused the wound? You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. And you're certainly not alone. Men across the world have faced these same games, and many never talk about it. They bottle it up, they stay quiet, they suffer in silence, because the world tells them to be strong. But strength isn't silence, strength is seeing the truth and still choosing dignity. Don't just watch videos like this and nod your head. Start trusting your gut again. Start asking hard questions, and start recognizing that not every argument is worth staying for. Sometimes, walking away is the power move. If this video made you think, really think, then it's time to subscribe. This channel isn't about bashing anyone, it's about equipping you with the emotional intelligence you need to navigate the modern dating world with your sanity intact. Because trust me, in a world full of masks and manipulation, your clarity is your weapon. And now, you're armed. Subscribe for more truths they hope you never hear. And if you've ever experienced one of these games firsthand, drop your story in the comments. You never know who you might help by sharing it. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and never forget, your peace is worth protecting.